Let's look at Chapter 7 today. These are the final answers for today's questions. Questions 1. An object is 20 cm in front of a convex mirror and the image is located 15 cm behind the mirror. Find the focal length and the radius of the curvature of the mirror. To find the focal length of the mirror, let us apply the equations for mirror, which is 1 over f equals to 1 over u plus 1 over v. When it comes to Chapter 7, we need to be extra careful with the sign convention. And in order to determine the sign conventions, I would suggest you to sketch the diagram because it will help you to visualize what is going on. So according to the questions, now the object is located 20 cm in front of the mirror and image is formed at 15 cm behind the mirror. So if you look at the diagram and if you look at the questions, it tells you image is located behind the mirror, which tells you that this v is a negative value. So you have v equals to negative 15 cm here. Now that you have the u and the v, just substitute it into the equations and you will get f equals to negative 60 cm. Other than the focal length, question also asks you to determine the radius of the curvature of the mirror. So just look at the relationship between r and f. So r and f, r is equals to 2f. Now in this question, I use modulus f. Why? Because I have a negative f. And when the question asks you to determine the radius of the curvature of the mirror, it should be a positive value. Now, of course, you can just use r equals to 2f and you will get a negative r in this case. You just have to add an extra statement. State that the radius of the curvature is a positive value. Okay, so in this case, we have r equals to 120 cm. So if you didn't put a modulus right here, then you will get a negative 120 cm. In that case, you just add an extra statement, state that the radius of the curvature of the mirror is 120 cm. Questions 2. The distance between the object and the real image formed by a concave mirror is 30 cm. The image is twice the size of the object. What is the focal length of the mirror? In order to determine the focal length, we need the object distance and also the image distance. But in these questions, you are not given any of the information. So in this case, if you look at the questions again, the information that you have is the magnification. So according to the questions, the image is twice the size of the object, which tells you that your m is equals to 2. But why? Okay, what is the reasons I put a negative sign right here? How do I know whether it is positive or a negative? Another keyword mentioned in the question is the real image. So when it comes to concave mirror, real image is always inverted. Therefore, I know that my m should be a negative value. So in this case, in this question, m is equals to negative 2. So now let us apply the equations. M equals to negative v over u. So we have negative 2 equals to negative v over u. Cancel the negative out and you will obtain v equals to 2u. That would be our first equations. Well, how do I know that this is the first equations? Because when you have two unknowns, definitely you are going to need two equations. Now, how am I going to form the second equations? Try to sketch the diagrams again. If you look at this first equation, it tells you v equals to positive 2u, which means now you have a real image which is located in front of the mirror. And 2u, it tells you that now this image is located further away from the object. Therefore, this would be the diagram. The second information given in the question is the distance between V and U, your I and O is 30 cm. Therefore, the second equation would be V equals to 30 plus U. Now that you have two equations, let's solve them and get the value for u and v. So first, let us substitute first equations into the second equation, and you will obtain u equals to 30 cm. And then substitute u equals to 30 cm into either equations. So in this example, I substitute into the equations 1. And I will then obtain v equals to 60 cm. Now that we have u and v, so let's apply the equation for mu rule. 1 over f equals to 1 over u plus 1 over v. Substitute the values into the equations. F is equals to 20 cm. So that's all for today. I will see you all again tomorrow.